This is L'Amour Supreme's Zen. Hi everybody and welcome to Josiah Is Right. So as you saw in the tease, I'm going to show you my comics for L'Amour Supreme's Zen. So I got to meet Steve Stern not too long ago and we've become friends, and I'm working on a Zen writing project. I'm working on my Zen video. This unrelated things. He didn't know I was working on the history. Obviously I interviewed him for something when he mentioned it, so maybe that was, he said he liked my writing, not just the fact that I'm helping promote his materials, but I love Zen. I love that character. I have since I was a kid, so it's cool to soon be participating in creating stories for that world. I have the idea for like a trilogy of stories, but the first one hopefully will stand on its own. It will, I know it will, but it's kind of like that the Star Wars thing. If this is the only one, it'll, you know, still be contained as itself. So here is the soft cover version, and I've still not read this yet, so maybe I'll do a review of it soon or incorporate that into my history video. But you can see the cover here. This is a very, reminds me of, and again, just to show you the hardcover versus the soft cover for comparison's sake here, it reminds me, the movement here is very Spider-Man. I don't even want to say Todd McFarlane Spider-Man, although I guess it starts with that, but I didn't really read comics until after Todd McFarlane. I started reading Spider-Man when Eric Larson was drawing Spider-Man. So it's sort of his take on Todd McFarlane's, and that's kind of what I see here, at least in the cover here. A bit, which is also in this amazing blacklight poster, which is like fuzzy and velvet. No idea where I'm gonna put this thing, but we'll figure that out. It's just great. Like, you can't fold it obviously because of that, so it can't just roll it up. But it looks amazing because it's Zen meets L'Amour Supreme's pop art, right? So the origin of him, I did a video about that, where Steve came, part of the whole interview that he did about the history of Zen, he did spend time talking about L'Amour Supreme, how he met L'Amour Supreme, who was then Joel Orbeda, a t-shirt airbrush artist, and now a world-renowned pop artist. And then in between, a comic book artist very briefly. And so this is sort of the biggest collection of comic book work I think that he has done. And I don't know that, I know he's done maybe sequential art, but not like a story. I'm not one to speak on that. But again, point being is I did it as part of that video. So I did a segment where I sort of had interviewed Steve about that question, because at the time that Kickstarter was coming up. So knowing that Kickstarter was coming up, I posted that segment, and I still have to edit the rest of the video. And we're approaching, it'll be a year in May or June when Steve came here to the garage to be interviewed. So I gotta get on that, but I've interviewed other people since then. So I'm trying to make it a very comprehensive video. I've been reading every single Zen comic that I have for just to refresh myself, to have a context of what goes on in the books, as well as the history behind the scenes, which is what you'll be seeing. But this is meant to be about this Kickstarter. So you can see the level of detail. It does, it's, you know, I guess it's that style of the 90s. This, and I've never read this because this came after my time sort of reading comics, right? This is like, I guess maybe, is this 96 originally? I'm not even sure, 95. So that's right on the verge of when I was gonna stop reading comics, or was going to, when I did stop reading comics when I was into high school. I just kind of drifted away for a bit, and I got back into it after college. I would read graphic novels still, but I wouldn't read individual issues, and I certainly wasn't finding Zen, and these were like the Zen issues, I think, post-Entity comics. So Entity carried Zen from like maybe 93 to just before this was 95. So just those few years where Entity was the home of Zen, I think. I'm working out the history. Figuring out Zen chronology is a little bit tricky, even in the comics and the publishing, because there's a lot of number ones, as Zen fans know. But I just want to show you the other few things I got. So for signing up for the email, I got the Zen rookie card, which means I have a L'Amour Supreme autograph, which is pretty crazy. Like, it's pretty cool. So I have that, and then I have another one, which is again by L'Amour Supreme, which is the Shy Girl character who is in the comic. And again, since I haven't read it yet, I'm not able to say what's going on here. Obviously I know what's going on here, that's, you know, embryonic Zen. And then what here is really cool is I wasn't gonna open these, but I'm not sure. Maybe if I do, I'll do another video, because these are 34 cards of art by L'Amour Supreme from the comic, which is awesome. But I don't want to break the seal. I wish I got 2 of these in retrospect so I could open one and keep one. And I'm not usually that kind of collector. I just open stuff. But we'll see. We'll see. I loved what Zen really leaned into, a lot of 90s things at the time. in the 90s with foil covers, multiple #1s, all those kind of things, and trading cards too. It had some really cool trading cards. Now, there was never a line of trading cards released at the time it was supposed to, so it's cool to see this. So that is it for what I have for the Zen Kickstarter. Subscribe to this channel if you are a Zen fan, because I will be informing you about what I'm working on for Zen coming soon, and that video with the history of Zen where I interviewed Steve here in this garage, and watch that interview with him, the segment about the L'Amour Supreme comic, about this Kickstarter that I mentioned. But keep your eye out for that very much epic history. I've interviewed Bill Mouse, Don Chin, Dan Cote, of course, the co-creator of Zen, along with Steve here in the garage. The rest of those guys were remote interviews, but and I posted those separately so you can find all of those. So this channel has become the comprehensive history of Zen, and I'm glad to be a part of it because it's a character I loved as a kid, the first indie comic I ever read. So I'm glad that I can now share some Zen love with the world, even if Ed Piskor doesn't like it. We're both from Pittsburgh, Ed. We can disagree on that, I guess. Thanks. Bye.